Good morning, welcome to this morning's Outlook. I was hoping just to be looking through a few pairs here to what's setting up at the moment and leaving it at that, but there isn't too much setting up at the moment, so here we go. Let's have a look at the Forex pairs this morning. Starting off looking at the euro dollar, and well, we've seen this sort of correction last week. As I said, there was a bearish pivot swing and that carried on through Friday, and it's run through this morning's trade, yesterday afternoon, evenings rather, and this morning's trading. Where do we sit at the moment? Just bringing this 4-hourly picture down, really quite a strong sell-off. It's heading still back towards its monthly pivot, which is below at 2150. Looked at the option expiries today, and just if we did see any bounce, there's around about the 1.23 area. We have about 5.5 billion of options up there. Now it's very I should imagine it'd be defended if anything was going to happen to those. If price was to start moving to, I would imagine that would be strongly defended. I'd be surprised if the market moved up there this morning the way it's been moving. But anyway, just watch out for that. But at the moment, this market still seems to be in a solid downward trend. From what I say, solid downward trend. The beginnings of a downward trend on some of the intermediate time frames. Certainly looking down to the alleys here, lower highs, lower lows running through here. What we got this morning though, we have got a daily pivot slightly wrong at the moment. Let me just adjust this daily pivot. Oh, that's okay. It's based on daily bar. That's fine. Daily pivots and etc. above. Let's just look. Yep. So daily pivot sitting there at 22.33. So around that area. If we saw some rallying, that would be a reasonable target for those that are looking to short the euro. It may be a point where you want to be looking to add in or short into this euro. Weekly pivot just slightly above there at 22.54. Both of these well away from those areas where I mentioned the options are sitting, which could be defended quite rigorously. Okay, so that's euro downward trend. Opportunities maybe if it starts picking up this morning to trade it back to its daily pivot, but otherwise looking for any movements maybe to see if we can get a continuation out of this. The pound certainly seems to be continuing to the downside at the moment. It was sitting on Friday into its mean level, mean on here on the regression channel here. It's broken through that through the Asian session, sold off a little bit more. Certain here last week, whereas the other markets were coming down a bit more, this wasn't. It was sitting there holding on, but it has now rolled a lot more now relatively, and does look quite soft. Just coming back to the monthly pivot, monthly view here, you can see the monthly view, the daily view with a monthly pivot. There we go. The price is sitting right on that monthly pivot at the moment, maybe a bit of support, but if it continues breaking through, well, it's already through its weekly S1 or sitting around its weekly S1 where we are at the moment. Maybe some of these markets got a bit extended over this period, and we see some bounces again with the pound at any reversals. We've got a daily pivot as a potential target and weekly pivot, both these sitting above, which could draw price up. Okay, that's the pound, the euro, yen. So the yen again continuing its roll on through here. I think in the bigger picture, a lot of these markets, I'm not overly convinced that they're in a long-term trend here. However, certainly the yen. However, we've seen a decent bounce. There's no point fighting the moves here that we're seeing technically, and we're seeing this sort of continuation, maybe a bit slowing down consolidations. This sort of showing you a bit of a sign of slowing down, but as I often say here, when you get consolidation around the highs, you often see a continuation to that, the direction it was in, and that's what we've seen. If we get reversals here on the dollar yen, again we've got these pivots below, the weekly pivots below, and daily pivots there as potential targets. So if it does start selling off in this case, we've got targets below. That's the yen. Aussie dollar, another one. All of these pictures pretty similar. Downward movement. Actually, the Aussie, to be fair, had held on pretty well onto Friday and ended up a marginal update. But again, it's sold off. It's given us a sort of ABC correction. in fact here we've got the 4-hour pivot sitting above again, so as with the others actually, so we've got daily and 4-hour pivots sitting above the price action here. So with all these markets, same old thing. If we see a sort of a continuation to the upside, if you're wanting to stay short on these markets, well, just wait until if it gets back to these points. I did wait on for a sell point on Friday on the pound. It never got back to the point I wanted quick enough, but there we are. We'll see what these do. See if these pull back into any sell points. Okay, Canadian dollar, similar picture. I'm just going to show you the hourly here. It's inverted, of course, but again, we've got below weekly and daily pivots below. So again, if we were to see anything, running, there's a little bit of divergence on the Canadian dollar at the moment, but I never trust this in this early market. So that's that. New Zealand dollar is doing exactly the same. Let's look at the S&Ps. Have a look across some of these other markets. S&Ps off. Come back from the daily on the S&Ps actually, because Friday did end up with another positive day, more new highs there on the S&Ps. Bit of a retrace at the moment, bit of divergence with that move on Friday. Maybe we see a bigger correction. A bigger correction would give us some traders the opportunity to buy into these markets, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. Just see how far this comes back. Certainly it was a solid old sell-off even on Friday at one stage, but managed to pick back up there towards the close. Targets below, well, it's a bit of a mixed bag here, but the weekly pivot does sit below. It's already through its daily daily pivot at the moment. So that's that. Let's have a look at gold. Gold's continued to sell off on Friday. It had a bit of a horrible old day on Friday. In the end, we were sitting. I was looking at about halfway down this line at one stage, thinking, well, yeah, it's broken its near-term trend. It's back into that bigger trend. If you just come out to the monthly picture, it still shows it on an upward road here. But if you come to the weeklies here, see this trend here that it was running into. Even this is arguably still in an upward trend, but it did really come back off on Friday afternoon. It sold off further. Again, got potential here for correction to back to weekly pivot sitting at 1878 there. So see how it just sort of holds up. A bit of divergence around the lows here on the 60-minute chart. But you see the big correction that continues through later in Friday afternoon there. It's about 3 o'clock, I think, that kicked off. If you can get the cursor onto it, it'd be good. There we go. Oh, 2 o'clock, just after non-farms. Just continued its route south, but there we are. There's gold. And finally, I'll just look at the Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been sold off over the weekend, come down quite a bit. It's come off all the way from 42, not short of 30, too far of 32 at one point. For some, I'm sure there'll be some panic selling going on through this. When you start seeing moves like this happening, coming off, it will push people out quite quickly. For others, it's just an opportunity to get long and see if this bounces back once again. But has had the weekend has seen quite a bit of selling going through there at this stage. But as I say, we used to get that actually a sell through the weekend and a buy back on a Monday. We'll see if it occurs again today. Right, that's pretty much it. As I said, I was looking for something specific to be trading this morning and looking at, but these markets have, as I say, just sold off so much through the Asian session there, or the late Sunday session into this morning. We'll just see how it sets up, but there are some opportunities, maybe, as I said, to counter trade these bits a little bit. We'll see how it moves this morning. Have a great day. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.